What's going on, guys? Styx here with the Token Minorities, bringing you the battle for Week 8 of Season 6 of the CPC up against AsterJ and his Montreal Habsols. And before I get into the battle, just a reminder that if you guys liked this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button, helps us out a ton, and lets us do more cool stuff for you guys. And also, if you have not done so already, please feel free to check out the TTM Discord. That will be linked in the description. Here at TTM, we're a collaborative channel, so there is not just myself and the draft format content in this video. There is also draft format content from Jolt and Crobat for the win, as well as TCG content and whatever Maddie decides to do when he shows up. And our Discord is reflecting of that, where we have channels for draft format, TCG, and Smogon content if y'all are into that. I believe that's actually what the channel is called. But yeah, so anyway, on to the battle, like I said, up against AsterJ, the TTM killer himself, and his Montreal Habsols. And he has brought a team of Nihilego, Zapdos, Miltank, Gardevoir, Ambipom, and Dhelmise. And also looking at my team, if you have not checked out the team builder yet, I encourage you to do so you can understand the logic behind these sets, and also what other moves I might not have revealed during this game, and why I decided to choose the moves that I did. But quick rundown, we have a Specs Tapu Koko, a Dragonium Z Salamence, a Rocky Helmet, Protect, Hazards, Leech Seed, Toxic, Ferrothorn, an Assault Vest Necrozma, a Choice Scarf, Swampert, and a Mega Pidgeot with HP Ground, U-Turn, and Toxic, as well as Hurricane. So that's the team I'm running with. His team, looking at what he brought, I'm actually immediately noticing that he did not bring the Volcanion and the Mega Pinsir, so that is a huge relief for me. He also did not bring a ground type, so Tapu Koko's Choice Specs Volt Switch is absolutely going to put in a ton of work. His only resist is Dhelmise, and I actually exploit the heck out of that with my Salamence and my Mega Pidgeot, so I'm really thinking that this is going to be a battle that can go in my favor very quickly if I'm able to pressure his team heavily with Tapu Koko. However, he did bring the Ambipom, which my Tapu Koko unfortunately does not outspeed. I decided to go modest with a little bit extra bulk. So that's something that I'm going to have to keep in mind. But otherwise, it's really not that big of a deal, as I do have Ferrothorn and Necrozma and Salamence and Swampert potentially even. So I'm not overly worried about the Ambipom, but like I said, noticing he does not have any Volt Switch immunities at all. Volt Switch just puts in a ton of work against his team. So I am just going to lead with my Tapu Koko as he leads with Zapdos, and then turn one, I am just going to Volt Switch. It lets me scout out damage on the Zapdos, see what his initial switch-in would be, as it is Dhelmise. So I am just going to Volt Switch on out and try to take advantage as much as possible, go into my Mega Pidgeot, and then seeing that he still has his Nihilego and Zapdos at full health, both of those are excellent answers to Mega Pidgeot, I'm actually going to throw off a Toxic, as I would think Zapdos would be the initial switch-in, and it also covered him staying in with Dhelmise. If he went Nihilego, I had plenty of responses to that. Well, I mean, I had my Necrozma, and I also had my Swampert, so I would have thought that Zapdos would be the most likely switch-in, as I am able to catch that thing with a Toxic early on, which is beautiful for me. Just start wearing that thing down. I'm going to go straight into my Necrozma, as I do not know what this Zapdos is just yet, although he does go for the Hidden Power, gets a crit. That shows that that Zapdos is relatively invested in bulk. Like, it's not particularly offensive, as Hidden Power took a crit to do 13%. Yes, I am an Assault Vest, very Spadef Necrozma, but still a fully invested Zapdos would have done a little bit more at the very least. And now that I do see the lefties, because of my Toxic, I do know that my Tapu Koko will outspeed 100%, so will my Mega Pidgeot, and so will my Swampert. So that is very, very good information to have for later in the game. But for the time being, Volt Switch does absolutely nothing. I'm just going to go straight for a knockoff, get rid of something's item. Doesn't matter what, I just want to get rid of something's item, as it ends up being the Miltank. And Miltank is actually kind of annoying. I'm going to go into my Ferrothorn, as I was expecting either the rocks, but the Toxic works as well. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to get up my own Stealth Rocks and then really just be a general nuisance to his team, all things considered. He goes for the Seismic Toss and actually takes more damage than he did to me, as I'm able to get off a Leech Seed, start healing up some HP off of this Miltank, and now I know he's going to go for the Milk Drink. It's just a free Toxic, I'm going to go straight for that, as now left Miltank does not have leftovers. It is both leech-seeded and toxic. That is beautiful for me, but considering Miltank has both of those on it, I know that he's going to switch out, so I'm just going to go for the double toxic. As I do catch a Dhelmise, I didn't think you'd want to waste another heal bell PP on just healing the toxic off of the Miltank, and I'm going to go for the protect right there as he gets me with the synthesis. I just kind of wanted to see maybe Dhelmise would have had HP fire, or maybe wanted to double switch or something like that, but I do just... I am just able to switch into my Necrozma, as I thought that the Dhelmise might go for the rapid spin right there. I figured, you know what, Necrozma is the safest option. I didn't want him to potentially have HP fire still. He could have synthesis and HP fire. That's a real possibility, and I didn't want my Ferrothorn to go down just yet, as is actually very, very nice in this matchup. As he goes into Miltank on my Necrozma, this is not a beneficial matchup for me, so I'm just going to go into my Tapu Koko and really just keep the offensive pressure on with Volt Switch. Miltank does not have lefties. It's forced to Heal Bell right there to get rid of 2 toxics on his team, and he goes into Dhelmise right now, and Dhelmise is getting lower and lower. That is beautiful. The second Dhelmise is dead, then Thunderbolt spam will just pick me up a kill every time I'm able to do it, and I'm going to go into my Mega Pidgeot. Once again, I'm just going to fire off a Hurricane. As Zapdos is low, I can well, not once again fire off a Hurricane, but I'm going into my Mega Pidgeot once again. There we go. That's what I was trying to go for. And at this point, I'm going to fire off a Hurricane. I know he's probably going to go back into Zapdos or Nihilego, but Zapdos is low at this point, and Nihilego I do have the HP ground for, which will not be a KO, especially as this Nihilego reveals to be bulky from the Black Sludge. But it still will be a 2-hit KO and put it in range of another HP ground or Rocks and a Hurricane later, which will be very nice for me. But at this point, I'm not going to bother over-predicting. I have no reason to. And Zapdos, by the way, was not low, but what I was meaning, I realized that I just said the wrong thing. Zapdos wasn't low, but rocks were up, which would cause Zapdos to have to come in on a Hurricane and rocks, which would allow me to get a free toxic off as he roosted, and that would have been the pressure that I was kind of going for, and that was what I meant. Meant that Zapdos would have to come in on rocks, be low after Hurricane plus rocks, allowing me to get another toxic on it and just continually pressure his team. Having toxic on both Ferrothorn and Mega Pidgeot is paying huge dividends this game, as once again, like I said, I went for the Hidden Power Ground. Zapdos is immune. I had no reason to overpredict. Nihilego is basically dead at this point, and I'm just going to go for another toxic. If he knocks me out, he knocks me out. That is okay with me. Mega Pidgeot really doesn't do a whole lot, especially considering Dhelmise is so low, but here I'm just going to go for the U-turn. Unfortunately, get the static paralysis, which sucks, but like I said, Mega Pidgeot is not that big of a deal to me at this point in the game because Dhelmise is low. So I bring in my Swampert on the Zapdos, knowing that it's probably going to go for an electric move of some kind. It's revealed Roost, it's revealed Hidden Power, which was probably grass for the Swampert, but considering that my Swampert is in and my Swampert is offensive, I'm just going to leave it in here and go for an Ice Punch. If he wants to sack his Zapdos, that thing will go down, which will be relatively nice for me. I mean, it's not the best thing in the world, but it is something that I would like to get knocked out, or at least very, very low. And if he goes into Dhelmise on the Ice Punch like he actually ends up doing, I am able to knock that thing out. I think he was going to try to take advantage of my Swampert, try to get a rapid spin off, and go from there. But either way, Dhelmise goes down, my rocks are here to stay, unless the Zapdos has Defog, which it very well may, and he just goes into his Miltank. I'm making the same exact play I did before, going into my Ferrothorn and just pressuring this Miltank with Leech Seed, especially now that his Grass type is gone. Leech Seed is just free to spam against his team. Unfortunately, I do miss against the Zapdos, but the Zapdos still had to come in on rocks, is still toxic, so it's probably going to go for a Roost right here, or something to that effect, as I am going to bring in my Tapu Koko, and now that his electric resist is gone, I'm going to start firing off Specs Thunderbolts. I'm just going to claim my kill at this point. Something is going down. Zapdos almost gets one shot from there. As he roosts, I think he was like trying to scout out the Volt Switch, which I revealed earlier, but nope, I'm going for Thunderbolt right here. I am claiming my kill, and fortunately that has to be Zapdos. And now if you look at his team, where's his ground immunity? His ground immunity is gone, which is his ground immunity is gone, which means I can spam Earthquake. But here he goes into Mega Gardevoir. I know he would probably only bring Mega Gardevoir in if it was Scarfed, and considering my team, Scarf is actually very, very viable. So I'm just going to sack off my Mega Pidgeot. That Focus Blast revealed that it was not Specs, that it was indeed a non-special attack boosting item. So I'm just going to go into my Salamence right here and try to set up a Dragon Dance. And hindsight 2020, this probably wasn't the best play, considering that he very well could have just been like an Assault Vest Gardevoir and just switched up into Moonblast and knocked out my Salamence, and then I would have been like, huh, well, that was not a Scarf Gardevoir. But considering I'm relatively certain that this Gardevoir is Scarf, I'm very confident that the Gardevoir is Scarfed. So I'm just going to make the risky play, go into my Salamence, go for a Dragon Dance. If he Moonblasts me, then I'm just kind of like, oh, well, sad day for me, but then Swampert will outspeed and be able to get kills with Earthquake, or at least pressure his team as he goes into Miltank, and I'm just going to fire off my Z right here. Miltank's at full. I don't want to lock myself into Outrage just yet, so Devastating Drake is able to knock out the Miltank, and he goes into Ambipom. I figure he's probably just going to try to fake out me, but at the very least, I'll be able to get another KO, as he actually reveals to be Scarfed Ambipom. Now, this is what I love about the draft format. Like, as soon as he went for Ice Punch and outsped my +1 Salamence, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, who runs Scarfed Ambipom? And that's like, and then I realized that that's exactly what I love about this draft format so much. It's that these type of sets are totally viable, and it's only unviable if it doesn't work. If the set works, then it's a totally viable and smart bring. And I mean, that's why I love the draft format, because Ambipom, you would, when I played in RU and when I played on the ladder, you would always just see it like Silk Scarf or something like that. And Fake Out, Technician Fake Out was its biggest thing. But now in the draft format, Scarf Ambipom coming through, revenge killing a Salamence, like, this was a moment where I really just realized why I love the draft format so much and why it is so much fun. Because thinking, like, in my Smogon mind, I was thinking Scarf Ambipom is such a stupid set, it's so unviable, but my draft format mind was thinking that that's awesome. That's awesome that a set that I would instinctively think is unviable works and did such a good job, and it did its job in this game. So yeah, I mean, I just love the draft format, and that turn really just kind of epitomized what I loved so much about it. But that being said, we still have a game to win, so Ambipom is in, it's locked into Ice Punch, it's 100% Choice Scarf, so this means I get to come in with Swampert, and I get to claim a kill with Earthquake. He decides to sack off his Gardevoir, that is fine. I mean, really, Gardevoir wasn't doing a whole lot against my Assault Vest Necrozma, and my Ferrothorn, especially if Choice Locked, so Gardevoir goes down to Earthquake, he goes into Nihiligo. I've seen the Black Sludge, I know I'm faster than this thing. I'm able to knock that out with an Earthquake. I believe I would have knocked out 2 or 3 Nihiligos with that Earthquake, and at this point Swampert will be able to clean up the game. Ambipom comes in, has to go for Seed Bomb in order to one-shot me, but at that point Ferrothorn would win the game. He decides not to do that, he just goes for the knockoff, gets rid of my Choice Scarf, and Swampert's Earthquake is able to finish off the Ambipom. So for the first time this season, Swampert was actually able to put in, well, Swampert was able to get a ton of kills. It's put in work earlier in the season, but for the first time this season, Swampert was able to get a bunch of kills, and Scarf Swampert is the best Swampert. That's all I have to say, and we are able to take down the TTM killer and move on to 8-0 in the season, but I really don't care about an undefeated season. I mean, I'm locked playoffs, and that's all that matters. I'm just having fun with these last couple games in the season. I mean, winning's always nice, but it's not like super important. Like I said, really don't care about the undefeated record. But yeah, so able to move on to 8-0. We are up against Techno next week, so that'll be a very good game. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.